Hey, good morning, everybody. We are so excited. We haven't had too much coffee. We've just had enough, and we're going to be bringing to you one of the best interviews we've ever had.
From Texas.
It's going to be fantastic.
What's the name of their
tuned.
place?
I have no idea.
Trios Distilling.
I knew that. I just got off the phone with the founder and the owner, and
his mom.
And his mom. I told him I'd like to talk to his mom, but before that, I got to figure out who this is. She's been stalking me for years, sitting next to me. Nationally renowned, international star of stage and no, not really. But anyway, she is a world-famous photographer from the world of music, but now the voice of Links and Libations magazine podcast team, Miss Kira.
And to my right is the wonderful Randy Weckerly.
That's all I get? After all that lead up? I don't know. Anyway.
You are the vivacious Randy
Vivacious. That might be my interview of the day.
You're Mr. Wonderful.
No, I'm not Mr. Wonderful, no.
You
anyway,
could be
today,
like in Shark Tank, Mr. Wonderful.
We have our week is so filled. This is incredible.
I'm so excited.
It is incredible. We have a week. We have Dave Travelino that's going to be coming on tonight on our Links Libations podcast.
Yes.
I'm going to be on a podcast tonight that's going to be with beautiful and vivacious Ricky Potts from down in Tiburon, down in Florida.
Yep.
And after this interview, we're going to have Sean Nordquist.
Look,
right now, the most exciting more than anybody I've been, we have coming up the owner.
Bring it on.
Drum roll. Daniel Barnes. I wonder if he was on Dallas. Wasn't that one of the guys on Dallas? You don't know.
I'm
You're
too
not
young.
old enough.
I'm too young for that.
I think
I'm too young.
I think he was one of the evil people on Dallas.
Maybe, I know that.
I'm sure it's not this guy. Uh-oh. The guest.
Let me try one more time.
Okay, we'll try it again. What happened?
We'll try it again. He declined.
No, we got to bring him in.
We got to bring you on,
We're going to be adding him, Daniel. All you have to do is just sit and hold tight. Don't have to do anything. It'll flip over here in a minute.
Yes.
Coming from just, I think, west of Boston, possibly.
I don't know.
Isn't it Dripping Springs?
Yes.
Texas?
Yes.
Texas is a great state. Been down there many times. You ever been down there?
I have family in Texas. All over Texas.
You didn't get arrested very often,
no,
did you?
I did not.
We need bond money?
No, we might.
Depends. You didn't rob any banks?
No, I didn't.
Any shootouts?
Nope.
Nothing?
Nope. I go to Spring, Texas.
Yeah? Isn't that your
Or the Woodlands. Yep.
Yeah.
And then I got family in Dallas.
Yep. Well, we're still trying to add Daniel. Well, he's coming in. I've been all over the state of Texas.
Just rub it in my face.
That's all right. I got to ride the stagecoach at the Houston Rodeo about 3 or 4 years ago.
It's pretty cool.
Well, no, it wasn't, because the guy I was riding with was a true Texan, and I was called a store-bought Texan. That's
you're a fake cowboy.
Yeah.
Fake cowboy.
Yeah.
Nobody answered. Let's see. Try this one more.
Try it again. What did it say?
It said nobody answered.
All right,
bring in one more. I don't know why it kicked me out again. Okay, we're gonna try one more time, Daniel.
One more try, Daniel.
Hey, there we go.
Oh my goodness! I'll tell you what. You're magnificent. I've built you up, and all of a sudden you're having a hard time coming in. And I'm sitting there, can't wait, and I got to put up with this, For another,
oh, whatever. It's not that bad.
A lot of fun. Anyway, good morning. How are you?
Doing well, man. Good morning to both of y'all, and thank you for the opportunity to come on and chat a little bit this morning, man.
Well,
it's my favorite when people say y'all.
Y'all?
I say y'all all the time, and people think I'm from the South. I'm like, nope. I just have family that taught me how to say y'all, not you guys.
Yeah, I see it work its way into my my work emails in areas it probably shouldn't, but it's just part of the vernacular.
Yeah. Well, we enjoyed meeting your mom. That was really a lot of fun.
I need to meet your mom.
So a quick shout out to her. It's her birthday today, so happy birthday, Mom.
Birthday,
oh my goodness.
Mom.
Well, if you'd want to, we could have you on our show tonight if you had any time around. It'd be about 6:15 Central Standard Time.
We're actually in San Antonio tonight. We have a press event that we're doing over there tonight. So.
Don't worry about it.
We'll do it next time.
Yeah, we're gonna sign.
Sounds good.
We're gonna sign a multi-year contract for $1.
Love it.
We'll pay it. We'll pay it over time, so don't worry about it. But
see, we can work through a Facebook Live version of Dallas, like you were talking about, man.
So you are part of the Barnes family. That was the. So I know too much about Texas. Now. I love that. I used to have on my phone, the ring was the Dallas music. So I said, pick the character.
Yeah, that's awesome. Nice.
But anyway, let's get back to you because we try to keep this limited, but we can only go so long. But Facebook people that watch these, we've had such a great interest in these, and I know when we get done here, this is going to be a big situation, too big for this interview.
We know that you guys have an anniversary coming up, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna get straight to it. What is
Okay.
that party all about? Because I wish I could go.
So it's coming up on October 20th, actually, and that's going to be our 12-year anniversary. So kind of crazy to have been around in the industry from the very beginning. You know, whenever we got our license in Texas, I believe that we were the 4th distillery in the state. Now there's roughly 130, 140 of them. So been some pretty meteoric growth on that side, but it's been a fun learning experience. You know, us going from making rum from scratch in the early days, you know, going through with a vodka portfolio and then a full craft portfolio. And then, you know, recently I guess about 5 years ago, we bought the ranch where we are now out in Dripping Springs. So we're on about 28 acres out there. We did a lot of work internally in our organization to work with some of the changes in the laws for Texas distilleries. That's gonna be really annoying because I talk with my hands a lot, so I keep flashing my hand in front.
I do the same thing.
The next time we do this, we got better technology coming in, so we won't be sharing this 2.5-inch screen. It's gonna be very
Okay, nice, perfect.
It's okay. I talk with my hands too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the party itself, it'll be going all day. We have live music throughout the day, cocktail specials. And something I'm personally really proud of, we're going to be releasing our new restaurant menu, going through that process. So that's been a lot of fun working with our chef, Chris Andrews, and the chef de cuisine, Justin Richardson. They've both done some amazing work on that front with the new menu. So I'm excited to see that come to fruition. And then we'll also be opening up our cocktail lab as well.
I saw that, and that looked awesome.
It's neat, man. It's like this little oasis of creativity out in the country. So it's a lot of fun. But you know, it features our takes on traditional cocktails, and then we'll always have 3 different specials that we'll be working on in there. One that's like a group service, some sort of a punch bowl service, then some sort of a cocktail that's foraged from the property, where we go out and pick the ingredients from whatever seasonal that's there on the ranch. And then the last one will be kind of our sciencey, geeky cocktail, like something through our rotary evaporator or something along those lines. But the party should be a lot of fun, man. We're excited about it.
Well, thanks for the invitation. We appreciate it. You know, we'll be there. So.
Awesome.
I'm going to tell you, I've only extended this to one other distillery, not in your state, okay? But we're in our new studio. Those that can send us any swag at all, we have empty shelves that we can put in the background, and we don't charge for it. So I will tell you, you'll want to be part of that because we can't fill them up with. As I said, I've been to about 500 different distillery, wineries, breweries over the past years.
But they have such pretty bottles.
That's why they can ship
I
them.
know.
Oh, well, thank you, man. Thank you.
Welcome.
I'll tell you what, where we drink occasionally, every week, twice.
More than once.
Your product is actually, your product is actually where we have had a sip or 2. So
Or 7.
Yeah.
Or a handful.
100, whatever it was. But,
Yeah, that's great to hear, man.
Yeah,
you know, the packaging front, I've got to, you know, give credit where it's due. That was a combination of my wife Rachel working very closely with a group out of Boulder, the Crispin Porter and Boguski group, CPB, and they just did an outstanding job. There are times when, you know, we're going through talking about this rebranding effort, and the effort was really all about finding packaging that truly fit our personality and got across who we are in lieu of being a brand that's trying to be something for someone else. So I think they nailed it. I mean, there were times where I felt like I was, you know, laying on a couch talking to a therapist going through this branding relaunch. But I think all in all, they've done an amazing job. It's worked out pretty well.
Yeah. I need therapy, she said. Anyway.
Nice.
I never said that.
Anyway.
Putting words in my mouth.
No, anybody wants to get this story, I'm still on one page. It's on treatyoakdistilling.com. So much to talk about. Jamie Beal, am I pronouncing that right? Beal?
Yes, sir.
Beal okay.
Is she related to Jessica Biel?
What?
no, she's not, man. But I'd say Jamie, on a coolness factor, is well above that, man. She has been amazing what she's brought to the table for us. You know, as we decided, like with the brand, we wanted to focus very strongly on being truthful and transparent. Those are
Yeah.
great qualities, and I think they're necessary in today's world of what brands are faced with having to be that level of transparency with your customers. It sounds really good, but it's kind of a shitty thing to have to do, to go back and try to do everything the right way and be transparent.
Yeah.
But Jamie's been absolutely phenomenal and help us reach that endeavor. And she continues to challenge everyone at the distillery with our thoughtfulness on how we're affecting both the environment as well as the community around us, and making sure that we're doing all we can to, if we do any harm, to minimize it and work with people that will assist us in doing such.
Yeah, and it's very important to us because my main company is called Live Eco Style, and it was based upon actually travel at the time, about 10, 12 years ago. I used to be on Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom way back when in the archives, and you're not old enough to even know who that is. But that was, they call me Mr. Dust for a reason. But the situation is that eco-minded lifestyle, and it's not about global warming, it's about eco-minded lifestyle, sustainable living, and leaving it a better place, after you're not here. And when I read that, that's a whole show in itself. I mean, we have,
absolutely, yes.
That when you talk about aquaponics and reutilization of wastewater for gardening, and plant a tree for each barrel sold. How does that work? I mean, that's an amazing. Because I imagine you do more than 2 or 3 barrels a year, if I had to guess.
Yeah, yes, we do. Currently with our ranch, we're able to do most of the planning there on site, and so Jamie's got that project kind of rocking and rolling for us for the end of the year to do. Beginning of next year to do our first large planning run there. We'll be looking at doing fruit trees that we could use for cocktails and in the restaurant on this first run. After that, we'll most likely start off working with the Texas Park and Wildlife Foundation. And just doing kind of quarterly some days that we can go out with them and start to replant trees.
Yeah, and it's sort of your responsibility, because when I used to run from Houston to Austin, I mean, there were wildfires down there a number of years ago, and the land was pretty charred at the time. So, sustainability in Texas is, well, you just had, 20 feet of water in Houston a year ago, and it can be,
Right.
A drought for 15 years after that. I mean, you just don't know.
Well, two things on that note. One, we're facing some severe flooding and some horrible situations around Texas right now. Out near my original hometown is a small town called Menard out in West Texas. And near their Junction, Sonora, there's been absolute, catastrophes over the past few weeks of people losing their homes and losing everything. So part of what we're doing on our anniversary party on the 20th, a portion of all proceeds from the drink specials, from t-shirt sales and bottle sales, are all going to go to those flood victims to help folks on that end as much as we can here locally. And you mentioned the wildfires too. That was a crazy situation to see that so close to our home. But in the aftermath of the wildfires, as some of the trees cleared out in Bastrop, we've started to see these Yopon holly bushes that are just thriving out there, and that's the base for our old Yopon gin. So it's kind of interesting how that's been able to work out. Yeah, that's been a fun product, by the way. Philip Dormont, our head of R&D, spent a lot of hours getting that thing together to where it is, and it's been received very well so far, especially in the cocktail community.
And some of us here are gin drinker, by the way.
I am a gin drinker too. I was going to say, you're not the only one.
Anyway, is that the award-winning gin that you're talking about, that you went to London and got awards for?
No, that was actually that was the Waterloo No. 9, the base gin, the clear gin that we make. Which again, with gins, it's such an interesting proposition for a distiller, because it gives you the ability, without aging, to give a sense of place to a product. Right. And we always kind of like to say that gins, as we look and kind of do new projects and focus on them, that the flavor of the gin should really stem from like the confluence of terroir and culture for a given area. So we're working on things like a smoke and hops gin, a deep south gin, a California gin that we started working on that has some nori and grape leaves involved in it. So just some fun and different things that we'll be doing with our local gin projects over the next few years too.
Yeah, no, it looks like a lot of fun. As I said, it's been so much. And when I was looking at this one page, I'll get off this page.
I have a question.
Go ahead,
whenever
Kara.
you're done.
Miss Kara, go ahead.
I was going to say, how did you guys come up with your location that you guys are at now? Like, were you guys at a different location and you just wanted to have more property? I'm just curious because it's a beautiful location.
Well, thank you. And yeah, that was a big part of it. You know, in Austin, we had kind of grown to where we were busting at the seams with city regulations and what we could do there. We also just wanted a place where we felt like we were more part of nature and more able to spread out and do some of these more sustainability projects, and focus on those. And we also wanted the distillery to feel more like a place that people could go. You know, kind of used to say that people want to get out for the three E's, for entertainment, education, and just to escape. And so, you know, we really focused on bringing those things to people and kind of, you know, what level do they want to come out for, if it's for the live music, the food, or, you know, where we're really digging our roots in now is into the education proposition, both from cooking classes to cocktail classes to tours, going through the distillery, and then eventually with our gardening plan, the hopeful plan is this long term for it to turn into more of a community garden where people have access to it themselves that live in the community. So really just a place that we could call home, that was a little bit different from the 800 square foot warehouse that we were originally in up in North Austin. So quite a bit different from that.
I'm sorry. I gotta just jump in.
I think that's
I got too many questions.
That's such a cool concept.
I know it.
Love it.
I know. Go ahead, Kira.
No, I'm done. You can have a question.
I'm not done. All right. So now we got into another topic, and you got into your website, so we'll get into that someday. So you have cooking classes. What's that all about? Because I've got an idea for you. Strangely, it's really
Nice.
It's gonna be a good one. All right.
Well, you know, I come from a more of a food and beverage and a culinary background. My parents owned a motel and restaurant growing up, and you know, God, 7 years old, I was standing on a milk carton washing dishes. So kitchens and restaurants have always been a part of me. I moved down here to Austin and worked at the Four Seasons in the restaurant. Completed my first level SOM training, which really first level SOM training just means you can drink. So there wasn't a whole lot of challenge in the first level. But you know, waiting tables is one of those things that I did for several years, and it was a lot of hard work. But you know, I will say this about it: that job puts food on the table. I'm sorry, it's a terrible joke. I'm sorry, man.
No, I've had all my kids working food service before they do anything else. It's the hardest thing in the business. Here's my idea. All right.
This is your only idea for the money.
No. This guy, I like this guy. This guy is a good guy. I like his mom better. Happy birthday, Mom.
Nice. Nice.
Anyway, I have coming on tonight, he does a show tonight with us on our Links Libations podcast, but then Friday, Dave Trevolino, who is the head chef for the PGA Tour, but he's also the head chef at TPC Avenel, or TPC Potomac, and Avenel Farms, and he does a Friday show called Crazy Dave's
Chef Special,
where he cooks what he cooked the night before. He shows us how to cook it, and then Uncle Randy, this guy, and Miss Kira, that person, are supposed to cook it in our kitchen. Now, I think that some way we can figure out a way to get Crazy Dave's once in a while down into them trying to cook his. It's fabulous, by the way. And,
love it.
Yeah, there's a couple.
I think that'd be a great idea.
So I'm going to hook him on this now too. So what Dave also does, and the reason we're with him, is that he raises money to feed the sailors on the USS Chicago, and they dock at Christmas time, and about 50 to 75 of them have to stay on board, can't go home to protect the ship. So this year we're helping him raise money he goes over there, cooks in the galley of the nuclear submarine, and then he's going to cook on the back of the USS Missouri. So
that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah. So we're trying to find the right kind of people to help raise money, get the awareness, and you know, it's supposed to be easy and fun, but everybody wants to get behind this because the people that protect us, you know, we're just beginning with it. We just started this about 60 days ago. It's going to be a year-to-year thing, but with our energy and again, either cooking here or shipping the recipes down to you. The recipes, by the way, are fabulous. Go to our.
I'm
Facebook.
always hungry.
Yeah, look at
Nice.
look at last week's. He showed us what he cooked last week for his member guests before they came in, and I'll help you cook that spread, Miss Kira. I'll ship her down.
Nice.
I was planning on going to Texas anyway next one.
So we're going to extend this now. Now that we got him here. So when you look at your website, which is fabulous, everything of what you guys have done is just A+. And again, treatyoakdistilling.com. You can sit down and read this like a book. I mean, most websites are, just informative. Yours is written where every paragraph, well written.
It's like a story.
Yeah, it's obvious you put your passion in it.
Right.
Thank you. It's been Treaty Oak at its core. A lot of people say this, and it's kind of a tired term, but I really do mean it. It's about the people at Treaty Oak, and when you're looking through the website, you're getting the story, as it's been told, by myself to a degree. My wife Rachel, she oversaw everything to do with the website. The Mary Scala did an amazing job with a lot of the writing on the website. So it's as are most things at Treaty Oak. It's just that culmination of several different people. And, really one of the things that we're the most proud of is that egos don't come into play with us. So everybody comes from the same spot and everybody gets a chance to have a voice, and just really brings the brand together once it's just something genuine and real.
Yeah.
I have a question. How many people do you guys have in your operation?
We're between the distillery operation, the sales team, the marketing team, and then the food and beverage team. We have a little over 50 people that work with us.
Wow.
Most of them full time.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
Good for you guys. And you're beginning to distribute now in multiple states. I mean,
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I just had some of the folks from our wonderful distributor in Florida, the Breakthrough Beverage Group, out on Monday, and had a dinner with them and lunch, and a lot of fun, man. We enjoyed ourselves.
Well,
we enjoy entertaining, to say the least.
Yeah. Well, we want to get a lot of coverage in this. We have one of our seasoned writers, of course, Links and Libations, golfers golf, then they sip. Who knew? But the president of the Texas Golf Writers Association is in Texas, weirdly, and he's got credentials. And his name is Art Strickland. He's going to be on our show tonight.
Oh, cool.
And he's on every week, but I'd love to have him come out there and begin the coverage with you guys, because this is truly a great story. One last thing, and
maybe you could help me with my short game too. That would be appreciated.
Well, you should.
He's the putting expert. He taught me a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, we got Miss Kira invited. LPGA we help with. Jan Stevenson, one of our good friends, just went into the Hall of Fame today. And,
oh wow!
Yeah, she
That's
has
awesome.
a distillery, I think, out in Utah. Strangely, she was into wine first, but I was tearfully watching that this morning. I was texting her, and she's going to be a great friend of ours, and it's going to be what a great person. But
does
Kira,
Art teach lessons?
Art takes my money.
Nice.
Teach lessons? No.
Art's just a writer. We have a renowned teacher on too. But if you want to go on some great trips, he's going to plan trips to go to the Masters and such. Whole nother thing.
Oh wow.
Anyway, yeah, we've got. I've got plans for you, because I know when you grow up and become successful, you'll want to be part of my team.
Love it.
I just want to grab onto Superman's cape down in Texas. The only Superman that carries a 6-gun, one of the ways. But one last thing, just for our listeners, just a detail on barrels. Barrels are an interesting thing, and you had a small detail. First of all, the weather in Texas, it's great. Tell us about that for aging that great stuff called bourbon.
Yeah, so it's an ongoing conversation. The kind of, I guess, the overarching conversation is one that we have at Treaty Oak, which is attempting to discuss flavor and how we can talk about flavors. Really the basic vocabulary that we've got in today's world for tasting and for flavor and reaction to flavors is so limited compared to like colors, for example, or any of the other senses that you have, and like touch and hearing. Like, think if you only had 5 words for colors. It's ludicrous how limited our vocabulary is. And so with going through that, we kind of approach things from a finished product backwards kind of approach, as opposed to just following instructions from what others have done. There's a Japanese phrase, hanzoku. I should say phrase. It's a word, hanzoku, which means rebellion from a place of knowledge. And so it's kind of the approach that we like to have with things. So looking at the aging process, like you look at Texas and it's not Kentucky. Like the weather's not the same. And so a lot of people, they look at whiskeys and they consider 2 things that could be factors in how it's going to taste. And that's what was the mash bill and how long was it aged. And that's kind of where our conversations end. But the third most, to me, one of the most important things is the terroir, the climate. Like, so
Right.
where was it aged specifically comes in. So that affected our mash bill. So we use a yellow number 1 instead of a yellow number 2 corn. It produces just in our opinion, a sweeter, smoother bourbon, which we have to have because of the harsh summers and the heat that we have. We're lucky that we still have a lot of temperature variance. So even though we get up in the hundreds, the evenings still, get down into the 70s. And so that helps with the ebb and flow of the whiskey in and out of the barrel staves. But it does mean that our aging is different than it is in Kentucky. And that's one of the things that we're actually having a lot of fun with. We're looking for locations in 3 or 4 different climates, where over the next several years we'll be shipping our whiskey to and aging, and then being able to take those and compare them to each other. That's a big thing for us, and one that could be a pretty outlandish example of it is our Graveyard Bourbon series, which will be released a year from now on Halloween. 'Cause what we did is we did 10 barrels that we put back in the rickhouse, of the same mash bill as 10 barrels that we buried in graves 6 foot under.
Of course.
And like anybody else does.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's either awesome or a perfect example of that we need adult supervision at times, but nonetheless, it'll be interesting to see because we've watched the temperature and the humidity on those has been so stable. It's just been unchanging the entire time they've been underground. So it'll be interesting to see what the variance is between the two.
I've got the perfect name. I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to call you up when we're done for that because I visited a lot of.
That's got to be the coolest idea I've ever heard of.
Thank you, man.
I'm not even kidding you. That is awesome.
I've been on the best ghost tour in America, where I believe that they really believe that they're, and I believe it now, but I'll have to call you on that one.
So that's the name of the property that we bought was called the Ghost Hill Ranch. And so that's the name of our Ghost Hill bourbon. So there's a story there that there was the guy that was one of the original owners was named Abe, and he had a Model T Ford that he used to race around in, and he was involved in a wreck and passed away. And people claim you can still hear the engine revving on the back of the property and occasionally see headlights back there. So
that is awesome.
Some of the guys we work with claim to have seen and heard it, but it was pretty late at night after a few whiskeys, so I'm not sure I'm buying it, man.
I'll tell you what, this place was so haunted, it would be easy to figure out. I got out in a graveyard. People wouldn't even get out of the car that was with me, my associates, and I started doing a Facebook Live, and I'm telling you, they wouldn't even get out where I was. So, I mean,
oh, wow.
Yeah,
that reminds me of being like in junior high with a Ouija board.
Yeah. That was the only thing appeared, and they tried to put me back. So
nice.
No, I got so many great ideas. So I mean, this is just too much fun. So one of the other things that you do in those barrels, and I'm just curious, and if people get bored with this, I really don't care at this point in time. But in the
I'm not bored by it.
Anyway,
when it comes, in my mouth.
You start with you toast the barrel, or whoever creates your barrel, toast the barrel before they char it. What does that mean?
It's just the same. It's a basic charring process. There's nothing really special there. It's we do a char level 3 instead of a 4 because with a 4 it's a little bit too much with our heat. You get too much of the charred wood flavor coming through. The 3 is just enough to kind of soften the white dog and the whiskey as it ages.
Yeah. Well, thank you for asking that because I was trying to figure out how you got it out of the toaster when you.
Nice.
Simple thoughts.
Now, we do have some fun stuff coming down the road too, with some different aging that we've done with some barrels that were previously used for different wines, for Madeira, for port, and then we ourselves have actually aged. Our used barrels. We've got one that we filled with local honey. And another that we filled with maple syrup, and we just got through bottling up the maple syrup. That stuff is so good; it's delicious.
Wait a minute, something got by me. You're filling your barrels up with maple syrup?
And
yes,
honey.
And honey.
Oh, I've got a third product for you that I will share with you when we're done with this.
Nice.
This is gonna be a lot of fun. It really is. So it's gonna be great. Anyway. This is not a one-off. We'll plan on doing this on a regular basis. All right.
Love to, man.
We're going to inaugurate our office. We're finishing construction today. Not our office. It's our new studio. Weirdly, it has a Texas flavor to it. Whoever would have thought? But it's all about distilling.
Interesting.
Whoever would have known? So, anyway,
Well, I'll make sure to get you guys a care package of some bottles and some stuff to decorate with for sure, man.
There you go.
Woohoo! I want one of your shirts or one of your tank tops that have that awesome saying on the back.
Yeah.
You
or
got
on the
it.
Front. I want one of those. I was like, I'll wear it everywhere I go.
You got it, man. No problem.
Yes.
Everybody loves Miss Kira. Anyway, for Miss Kira.
It's one of my favorite things, by the way, real quick, is my mom wearing one of our new shirts. That all it says is Treaty Oak is the shit, bro.
I saw your swag and I was like, that is the funniest and awesomest shirt I've ever seen.
That's awesome, man.
I know you're not responsible for you. I know your mom is. She did a great job. She gets all the credit. Tell her happy birthday.
Yes.
I think she sounds like she's 28 going on 12. It sounds like it's a lot of fun. So,
Oh, that's awesome.
you know, I think that's awesome. Anyway, thank you so much.
Thank y'all, man.
I'll give you a call in just a minute. All right. And,
All right, y'all take care. Thank you for the time.
You too.
All right.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Daniel.
Bye.